Okay, if you want to preserve your pelt and you want to taxidermy your squirrel, this is the most important step to this whole process. So I have him, it's basically like a sock. You just tube him down and you pull him away to the feet and you cut the feet. And as you can see here, once you cut the feet, you just pull them right side out and his feet are still going to be intact. Okay, so again, this is the most important part. You need to get a good hold of his shoulders, so you don't want to rip any of this. If you see it starting to catch anywhere, sometimes there's little bits and parts of his shoulders, there's a membrane there that will kind of want to hang on. So you're going to want to make sure that you guide it up, pretty good to his neck. And you might even need to make a small cut or two just to make sure that it again pulls up away from his body as you do this. So we're going to go ahead and I like to keep his head pointed up, and you want to kind of pull and continue to pull using his arms that are still intact, remember, as leverage. Okay, so we've gotten to the first part here. All right, so there's a membrane. This is his ear. I can see that his ear is right here behind the skin. So we're just going to make a cut directly behind your skin. You don't want to cut the skin. If you cut the skin, when you do this, it's going to leave a big hole, and then his ear will not be on the pelt as you pull away. Okay, so his ears are on. You can see the two holes where his ears are going to be. And again, we'll pull that all right side out. So now we've gotten to his eyeballs. So you want to pull it. You can see the eyes on either side. So again, you're going to want to cut not into the pelt. You're going to want to cut down around just behind where you know his eyes are. And then you're going to want to pull it a little bit more. And you're going to want to do the same thing again until you literally see his eyeballs. And this is where it starts getting really delicate. If you don't make these cuts, then you will not see the dark spot around their eyelid. It will just be kind of hollow. And if you wanted to taxidermy it, you're going to lose that real cool contrast around his eye. And you'll probably have to go in and paint it later. So we're going to go ahead and make a cut. And now we're pulling down, and now we're to his whiskers. We're on his cheeks. So again, you have to just continue to cut around. This would be his cheek, like to the sides of his jaws. You want to cut, and then you're going to pull down again. And you're just going to keep on pulling down towards the bottom of his jaw. And you're going to go in, and you're just going to keep on making these cuts where all the good stuff is, his whiskers, his little cheeks, but you don't want to cut into the actual pelt. Okay, so we've gotten to his nose. So we're going to pull this down, and again, we're just going to keep on cutting and pull this down. And the nose is probably the hardest part to mess up, or the easiest part to mess up, the hardest part to do. So right at the end of where that bone is, you're going to want to cut in towards the teeth, rather. You want to cut just below, I guess, like his nasal cavity. You want to cut down into the teeth. And that's basically going to release that nose. And now we have our whole entire intact squirrel. Because some people like to do and eat the heads. I don't eat the heads, but I know a lot of people that really do like to eat the heads. Most people just give the heads to their dogs. I give a few to my dog every time I go squirrel hunting. All right, so as you can see here, we have his nose, his whiskers, his ears, everything. His cheeks, everything is completely intact. His bottom jaw, his ears, like I said, the black parts around his eyes, basically his eyelids. This is actually a female. Sorry, I keep saying he. And so this way, you have it empty like that, and you could just pull this over your squirrel mold. You could pin it all down, let it dry, and then go in and put in your glass eyeballs and fill out the cheeks and, you know, fill out his mouth. And you use a wire to kind of fashion the tail into the shape you want, and that's it, man. So I just wanted to show you guys how I do them if I'm going to save the pelts. So I know a lot of people don't want to save the pelts. That's not a big deal. You don't have to do them like this. This is how I do them. So I hope you guys thought that was kind of cool. Another thing I'll just go ahead and throw out there while I'm thinking about it is, again, I'm an executive chef. I get the craziest looks from people. Oh my God, how would you eat that? How could you eat something like that? How can anybody eat anything for that matter? How do we decide what is and what isn't good? You know, compartmentalizing what is and isn't acceptable to eat is a really, really silly thing, especially coming from people that are supposed to be, you know, really open-minded. People all over the world, they eat all kinds of things. We don't need to get into all that, but squirrel is a fantastic, clean, almost unlimited resource of meat that's very, very similar to chicken. I hate that as a chef that they say that all things taste like chicken, but some things do, and squirrel is especially one of them. And if you know how to cook quail or rabbit or any other delicate animal, squirrel is no different, and they're fantastic. Squirrel and dumplings, squirrel and biscuits. You can basically make, you know, biscuit gravy and substitute the sausage for squirrel meat and use some bacon fat to start your roux. Add your fixins, thicken it up, you know, add your squirrel meat at the end, and it makes a fantastic gravy. So there's all kinds of things you can make with it. With these, I'm probably going to make dumplings, or I'll make biscuits and gravy with the squirrel meat. So I'll try to get that all recorded for y'all. And I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. This last week, I've been a squirrel hunting fool. I just started this channel, and I'm trying to get everything done. And I give mad props to all of you guys that do this stuff. And you make it look and seem so easy. And now, after this week, I see it's a lot of work between the hunting and the hiking and the driving and the editing and the posting. It's a whole last thing. And so I hope you guys appreciate it, and I plan on doing a lot more of this kind of stuff for y'all.